We have with us Mr. Mukul Mahajan, who is director at Tetra Information Services Private Limited, and Deepa Kapil Mahajan, who is also a director at Tetra Information Services Private Limited. This is the first CXO session of the day, and it is titled Business of Open Source Journey of an Entrepreneur. Without further delay, I hand it over to Mr. Mahajan and Mrs. Deepa Kapil Mahajan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And it is indeed our pleasure to be on this occasion of the summit which is happening today, the online summit. And I wish and I hope that all of you are safe and sound and are taking all the precautions that are necessary at this stressing times. And I will start the presentation and hand it over to Mukul and Mukul Mahajan. There are two Mukuls, so I need to be clear. And if there are any questions, Mukul Kumar, you could intervene, or maybe we could have a Q&A session towards the end. I was just speaking about providing, cost-effective business solutions to the corporates using these technologies. So while doing this exercise, there was a continuous effort that was required to be put in terms of R&D, in terms of creating a fitness. When we, customers had a requirement, so we had to go back and do certain kind of fitness analysis as to what are the tools and technologies that would best fit the customer requirement, and then create the various stacks around that. So what was happening was, it was a continuous exercise of going back to the labs, doing the stuff, and then creating stacks, creating marketing material around that. So this was an ongoing exercise, and then implementing the various solutions to the to fit the customer requirement. So these are the various kind of things that we have been doing, and then creating a continuous process of reaching the customers. So reaching the prospects, converting the prospects into customers, and ongoingly into clients. So that was an exercise which, in any case, whether an open source or a non-open source company that does it. But then this was tough for us here, because these three things were put together: stacks, R&D, fitness, reach. All this stuff was going on simultaneously. So over a period of time, we have been able to bring a value proposition for our clients. And what is this value proposition that we talk about? That is a core team. We have been able to develop a core team which is driven by open source experts. So the leaders of the company are itself engrossed in this process. There has been a continuous focus on skills upgradation, adapting new technologies, testing out, trying out. And the most important thing which customer looks for is sustainability. So sustainability of the solutions, of the services that we have been offering to our customers, that has been created for a time span which is greater than 5 years. So this, when we say time span greater than 5 years, this does not mean that one solution created will carry on till 5 years. It is the ability to upgrade, expand, grow the solution with the growing needs and dynamics of the customers. So that scalability and that commitment of the organization to handhold the customer for his changing needs is something that we have been able to bring on the table. And also knowledge. You see, what happens is, there is a lot of structured, unstructured knowledge. There's a lot of tacit knowledge that has been gathered over a period of time. So finding ways and means of documenting this knowledge, sharing this knowledge across the organization has also come in handy when we have been trying to serve the customers that we have. So in a nutshell, if I say the kind of offerings that we provide in this domain to our customer, They are in the formats of consultancy, IT consultancy specifically, migration and porting, from proprietary to open source technologies, doing software development, doing corporate trainings, and then sometimes outsourcing the business process completely also, and doing the implementations, executing those implementations, and also providing technical support for all these areas. So, and when we have worked on many things, so now open source technologies has always been like an ocean, a vast domain. So there have been technologies which we have sustained, we have picked up. There are some technologies that we weaned out and brought in new technologies. So this is the various, this is kind of the blueprint that we have been using all this while to provide the various solutions to our customers, and also providing services. So we have kind of divided them into infrastructure and business applications, primarily because our offerings are also divided like that. So when we say infrastructure, it is more to do with the server side applications that we provide to the customer. And when we say business applications, they are more related to the business process applications that we have been providing to our customers. And over a period of time, we have had fruitful partnerships with OEMs like Red Hat, Nagios, Zimra, and vTiger, providing solutions to the people, to the customers from these OEMs as well. And we have been able to create a client list. We have been working with a lot of system integrators at the back end. We have been working with large corporates. We have also been working with non-governmental organizations to provide solutions. We have been working in the SME segment as well, where these solutions, the services that we have been provided has gone in and has given a lot of value to the customers. So now that was what I covered about what as an organization we have been doing, and we have been working with our customers. I would like to hand over to Mr. Mukul Mahajan to carry forward the various experiences that we have had all this while, and what are some of the thought processes that we carry. And I would like him to share those thought processes. Over to you, Mukul.
Am I using the same screen or?
Yes, you can use the same screen.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. See, just to add on to what Deepa has said, well, one of the very early entrants into the open source stream, and we have gone through very highs and lows in the open source domain, and we have worked both on pure open source arena, OEM supported products. So I'll start given a brief of whatever we do, whatever solutions, whatever journey has been. What I will like to touch upon is a few is that if you look enterprise, what are they looking open source? So if I go to any large enterprise, looking at enterprise grade features, something like you require high, you require active sync and all that in mail server. So the enterprise grade features which are required. Then any enterprise will guarantee. So they require a service level agreements, which can be 24/7 depending on the urgency of the request. Then they require compliances and other compliances which any organization looks for if they're of open source technologies. Then for professional support. So whenever any technology is adopted, number of people at the back who can provide professional support. Most of the enterprises will have their own manpower also, are part of the team. Then they require training on the have adopted. They might require consulting also. Is the best technology which fits them. Then there is a lot of change management, because historically people have open source software. They have been using proprietary software. So there is which is required within an organization to adopt open source. So whichever open source has to be a part of that. And then they are looking at integration with their business application. None of the application work in silos. If you are giving a CRM open source, it has to work with ERP. If you are giving to work with network monitoring tool, and full organization will never be open. Mix of the two. So you need to position accordingly so that enterprises work on that. Things which are possible in pure open source, like you can give professional training, but something like compliance and legal protection primarily available only through OEM supported. So if you are pushing those technologies to you need to look at OEM supported softwares. Deepak, can you move to the next slide? Hello. So next, I want to whatever our suggestions for any company, if they want of open source, it can be through providing solutions or selling other any OEM supported product. That first is that you need to create customer trust. Customer trust, you need to have the ability to demonstrate capabilities. Giving a pure open source solution, customer should have the trust is going to be there for long run. Most of the proprietary solution companies, they will already have the trust inbuilt because they are working. Then second is that giving open source services, then you have to create value of your work, because most of the organizations will feel that if it is a pure open source to download, you can just download it and start working. So, but if you want services, there has to be a reasonable amount of professional to have that infrastructure. So you need to create the value. Next point is that you need to create your niche. Too big. There are thousands and lakhs of application today available in open. So you cannot say that I do everything in open source. When you started by saying that we do everything in open source, but there are thousands that are coming up every day. So over a period of time, we are also set that in projects that we work on. So to create a niche in certain areas also, and depending on your type of organization, you need to create your niches. Next is that you need to market yourself to brands. So if you want to sell in long run and you want to sell, you need to create brands. As a organization, as a service partner, like us, we might not have big budgets for marketing, but then testimonials. Like if I sell with some big organization, I take to other organizations. So you need to create the testimonials. Then another coming and which will become a standard is that you can integrate your open source, because that is going to be the way forward. Most of the solutions available in-house as well as on cloud. So any open source we put on cloud and can be provided as a services to the. Then you need to have a long-term strategy and updates. Whenever we are going to any organizations who already adopted open source, sometimes they move away from open source organizations who are providing them services. They don't have long-term provide solutions, but when it has to be sustained over a.
So he was, Mukul was talking about the suggestions for the service partners, those who want to enter into the open source domain. And we were looking at long-term strategies for maintenance and updates, etc. This is something which is very, very essential for an organization So as we see, when enterprises want to adopt any open source, so they are always, I mean, it's like kind of obvious that they are looking for long-term strategies. So we are not looking at they are not looking at something which is fly by the night, or if they adopt a technology today, they are just left, they are left orphaned. I mean, tomorrow there's nobody to support them. Uh, Hello, Mukul, are you back?
Yes, yes, I had got disconnected. So
Okay.
I think I could hear what you were saying.
Yes.
Like I said, that historical data is not available, so you need to to have a good estimation of the costings. Then you need documentation within your organization to have a knowledge management, because people come and people leave. But you have to,
Mukul,
if you have to support whom,
uh, Mukul, 1 second.
yes.
If you could cover the costing and estimation again, because I don't think we heard costing and estimation, because that is an extremely important point.
Okay.
So if you could just cover
Okay.
that again. Yeah.
So what I was saying, that you need to do correct estimation for any solution that you are providing to the, especially if it is a pure free and open source which you are downloading from the web. Because the perception is that since it is free, then it will be a very low costing. But if you have to do customization, you have to maintain those solutions a period of 9 by 5, 20 by 4, over long term period where people come and people leave, you need to take that into account when you're giving costing to the clients. If you do costing, then the chances are that you will not be able to maintain, and all go for a toss. And you need to create historical data to do the costings for the product, for the solutions that you're giving. Next is that you need to have a good documented system, because there is everything on the web, keep on changing. You will have 50, 100 clients. There you will have different of the open source softwares which have been deployed. Then you might be for each client. So document and knowledge management is necessary. Like we use Wiki for any new customization which is done within the for any client. You need to do correlation and fitness with respect to industry requirement. To finance industry, or you go to manufacturing, or you go to any, you do fitness and then propose the solution, increases the operational efficiency of the solution. And you just need to define and redefine all the, go to new customers, you need to see who are the competitors. Company open source company competitors might be non because like I said earlier, open source technology does not work in silo. They work in tandem. Of open source technology integration, open source technologies, or with the same mainstream technologies is required, and which any service partner efficiency on. Deepa, can you?
Yes,
So for any open source company, what are the revenue streams? So revenue stream can be for a OEM supported technology, or it can be open free and open source technology. So one is subscriptions like Red Hat, Nagios, Zimbra, and all from the OEMs, and then provide implementation, development services, support services on top of that. Second, implementation services, which can be for free and open source as well as technologies. Then you have training. You can prove the people who are going into the domain. Next is technical support. We feel that technical support is key. Any organization will adopt open source if you are able to provide over a long period of time. And only then they will give you references. Like we have built up a 24/7 help desk. For depending on the level of services, we divide all the services and depending on the level of services, 24 by 7 available. Only then customer will have the confidence to stay with you. Then you need to provide consulting to the organization so that they can see which are the best fitment of the open source technologies. Consulting is sometimes free, sometimes it is paid. Then integration with the current system. This is again a very big area because today, because everything is moving online, all integrated, whether it is a help desk management system, whether it is a network monitoring, a document management system, ERP. Normally, everyone that data should be entered only once, and then it should to all the systems. So integration with current system is a, and then development. One of the key advantages of adopting technologies is, and where we get a lot of client is that to get stuck up with the standard features of a proprietary technology. They feel that they want something customized for their, they have a tendency to move to open source, which is, new features can be added. There are a lot of modules which are available. One of the business opportunities which is there. Deepak, can you move to the?
Yes, it is there.
As a, see, like I said, we can play with the through free and open source software. The advantages, the challenges of working. Advantages of working with OEMs are that large enterprise implementations are possible with OEMs of opportunity to scale up solutions. If I'm looking at solution across India or across world.
Yes.
So
Okay.
one is that, like I said, that large for large enterprise implementations, you require to, that was first. Then you can add a number of prospects and customers due to OEM branding. Did our journey, there were very few OEMs. One of the early OEMs which had branding to go to the market, but over time, a lot of branding has been built up by organizing open source solutions, and it helps to increase reach because your marketing budgets are always limited. OEM, you can even get their leads also. Then if you are going to large deals, especially if you are going to finance, banking, if you are going to government, they are looking for indemnity. Indemnity and compliance is primarily given. So if you are looking for large deals in these domains, work with the OEMs. You can help convince customers to adopt open source subscriptions, which is prime model of all the open source OEMs. A type of thing can be provided without OEM also, but to provide that it will become difficult. Then another challenge faced with open source brand is that though those brands are available, they still lack the brand power enjoyed by proprietors. This scenario is changing over a period of time, and if you large organizations are now adopting scenarios, so this is a work in progress and keeps on increasing. The brand power issue keeps on decreasing. Then non-availability of complete stack. If there is an organization which is looking at deployment of open source stack, there are still gray areas. Desktop is one such gray area where even in Ubuntu there is hardly any player which is able to provide fully integrated desktops for the organizations. So desktop adoption is to very small areas within the whole. Then there is comparison with proprietary software, and since proprietary softwares are there for long, sometimes we it becomes difficult to give a positive comparison. Then, since new technologies are emerging and in open source, there are very large number of new projects which historical data is sometimes not available to convince the customers to adopt the open source technologies. So what can OEM do to create an generally what we feel is that for the adoption of open source, because still there can be very very large adoption with available at this moment. Based on our experience, the key things which we feel is that most of the lack strategy, focus, pricing, reach for SM, most of the focus is for large organizations. So if you see organizations like large banks or government, if you see telecom, most of the large organizations have open source. But same is not true for SMEs. If I look 20, 30, 40, 50 people organizations, they will be either using softwares or they are sometimes even using. So I our feeling is that there needs to be a OEMs for that. Then their support system for in terms of SMEs can get a proper support. So all the OEMs need to have a proper systems to be able to cater to SMEs, where sellers might be just selling the subscriptions to be good number of support partners who are supporting, which most of the proprietary. Then there is a branding which is SMEs. OEMs need to do a branding so that SMEs can connect open source technologies, which is to a extent is being taken care by cloud solutions, because cloud, then there is not much of a differentiator between and any large organization, because you can provide your number of features with cloud and more number of features for enterprises. And go to market strategies are not difficult. I had said earlier also, we tag OEMs with desktop solutions. So if OEMs can look at that also. Deepa. So I will adding that, see, we have been through all the thicks and things open source. We have been totally attached to open source. We are open source technologies also, and we have worked on supportive technologies. Now, what we are planning forward, which we have been doing in a non-streamlined, we want to create a formal community of stakeholders, which are primarily people who are in looking for reskilling, who are looking for upgradation, organizations who are looking for adoption of open source technologies, who want to get into open source. So we want to create a community, and within the community, we will be providing this like coaching, training, consulting, reskilling, evaluation, and implementation services. So this is what we provide in a formal way. So now we are open to any questions, any other discussions. Or Deepa, you want to add anything on this?
Yeah, so I would like to add that in the initiative that we are planning right now, where we are, kind of formally bringing in, wanting the people to come up and avail of the various services, so that we have more people, those who are professionally trained in the various arenas of these technologies and how to handle things by way of the experiences that we have had, the ups and the downs and the lows and the highs that we have experienced in these areas. So we have been able to track down certain, certain best practices, certain do's, certain don'ts, and we are open to sharing it up with the various people who want to take up. And also for small organizations, when we say here organizations who are looking for adoption of open source technologies, so either big corporates where they want their members, team members, IT team members to go for some kind of a reskilling, or even for organizations who are smaller and who are looking to adopt technologies but want to kind of get their fundamentals clear, or want to understand how to go about that. So we are open to that. That's something that we are looking for. And I would again like to lay emphasis on one of the areas, which was cost estimation. Because cost estimation, Mukul has already covered in the slide there, but that is a very, very important and thing when people are trying to come into this arena. Because a company that is being set up, company is being set up for profits. And sometimes what happens is when people are very passionate about some technologies, so they forget to estimate how much time has been spent in providing a solution. And that time is of value, and that valuation has to be done properly. So project estimates, cost estimates in terms of customizations, because there may be times when you are learning, and during those times you may go haywire in the estimation that you have provided, that okay, this thing will be covered in X time, but sometimes that X can become 2X. So you need to be cautious, careful. That's what I can say.
Thank you, Deepa, and thank you, Mr. Mahajan, for a wonderful, wonderful session. I thank you on behalf of Open Source India. I thank you on behalf of Electronics for You Group. I don't see any questions as of now, but if we do receive some questions, we'll make sure to keep you in the loop. Thank you for this brilliant session, and we hope to see you here again in Open Source India.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you very much.